What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. I was going through Twitter a little while ago, and I saw a tweet from Phil Housley's daughter about the Justin Bieber Chicago Blackhawks situation. I'm not talking about it. I refuse to go there. This is the Power Play with CJ, not TMZ. And it was a disgraceful act by Mr. Bieber. I'll leave it at that. But it just had me thinking, Phil Housley's on the Hall of Fame. How the hell does that happen? I looked it up. I know he never won an individual award, and it was team success really never followed him. Was it the '98 finals with the Capitals? They really did very well against the Detroit Red Wings. The numbers are amazing. I mean, 1,232 points in 1,495 games. Was the all-time leading scorer for Americans until Madonna broke that. I think Pat Kane will break that at some point. Has actually played the most games in history of the NHL without winning the Stanley Cup. It's kind of tough. Raw deal there. Had the record for most games played by an American, and then Chris Chelios chose to play till he was 85. Just the longevity of Housley's career from '82 to 2003, 21 years. Up at 18, right out of high school for the Buffalo Sabres, had 66 points as a rookie, 77 points in 75 games the next year. Was at a point a game and had 81 points in 80 games in 1990, 76 points, 86 points, 97 points with Winnipeg. So, I mean, the offensive numbers were outstanding. I mean, I don't get why, he's been retired for, 10 years now, and it's kind of like, is it because he's an American? Is it because he's overshadowed? Because he spent a lot of his career when the league was more high scoring, to put it bluntly. Is it the lack of a Stanley Cup? Is it the fact he never won an individual award? I mean, he was on the All-Rookie team, second-team All-Star in 1992, was third place, finished for the Norris Trophy in 92, played in the All-Star game in 84, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, and 2000. Actually, a 2000 season with Calgary on a pretty bad Flames team, had 55 points. He was no spring chicken. I think he was 37, 38. But I mean, I don't get, and obviously he won the gold medal as head coach of the U.S. World Junior team, and I'm very curious to see he's going to coach for Nashville next year as an assistant. What impact he has on Seth Jones? I mean, the American kid inside of me is going, ooh, the past generation of great American defensemen and the future generation of great American defensemen, and he really came up right before the golden age, the golden age of American hockey, as I say. When Roenick, Modano, Dougie Wade, Guerin, Leach, even Brett Hull's right in between the golden era and Housley coming into the league. And Housley, I mean, a fan of someone made his NHL debut in 82. I was born in 1991, so yeah, he was. He reached his prime right when I was, in diapers. So I really can't speak to objectively from not having grown up watching him play. All you really seeing highlights and old games and statistics. Whereas opposed to Roenick and Amani, guys like that. Obviously Roenick belongs to the Hall of Fame. Amani, not really. But I'd say in the grand scheme of things, he's the third best American defenseman of all time, behind Leach, behind Chelios. I can't put him any higher than third, and that's not a knock on him. I'm just saying that both those guys are multiple. I believe Leach won a few Norris trophies. He won at least one, and Chelios won a few between Chicago and Montreal. So, like I said, he belongs. I think it's to put it bluntly, bullshit he's not in. I'm not going to play the xenophobic card, but I mean that could be a factor in it. If he was from Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, is he in? And that's a legitimate question to ask yourself. And I mean, the Hall of Fame voting is such a joke. And I mean, I talked about this earlier. I've talked about it ad nauseum in the last 3 years, really. The Pat Burns saga. It makes me sick to my stomach that he wasn't inducted while he's alive, and they keep running from the problem by not inducting him. In the 3 years after he's died, and it's awful. And when's Housley gonna get in? When's Theo Fleury getting in? Pavel Bure took forever to get in. And you know what? Bore belonged in there over him last year, over Housley, legitimately. That's not up for debate, and that's not knock on Housley. I'm just saying Pavel Bore was the preeminent NHL goal scorer for the better half of for over a decade. The injuries kept him from scoring 700 goals, and all due respect to Housley, Bore was a better player. Let's keep it real here. But I hope he gets in. I hope he gets in 2014 to have him and JR get in next year would be great for USA Hockey. And maybe that's what it needs. An All-American class. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's why I'm episode of the Power Play with CJ on why Phil Housley belongs in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the off season and beyond. Later, guys.